Facetious, Scarcasm Live, School of Hard Knocks, and Knox Broadcast are extremely proud to offer up to you today the State of the Industry 2020 Gaming Roundtable. Now, this roundtable is extremely long, so we've decided to cut it up and deliver it to you in bite-sized consumable chunks. This is the first of about 3 different shows. We will have the agenda along with timestamps included in the description of the show. And get at us on social media if you like what you heard, or if you didn't like what you heard, but you just want to discuss it civilly. In the meantime, enjoy the show and stay open. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State of the Industry 2020 Gaming Roundtable Podcast. I am one of your hosts this evening. I am happy to be back behind the mic. My name is Larry, aka Blue Man Rule, and brought to you today by Perform Radio, who just celebrated their 500th episode, but also joined by my main damies. Look, I gotta do it. I gotta go to my man, to my virtual right out in Virginia. It's none other than, y'all know him, y'all love him. It's Mike, aka Scarfinger, aka Real Talk. What's up, dog?
Oh What's up, dog? We in the building, 2 up, 2 down. You know what I'm saying? It's been a little bit, man. And look, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up.
You gotta get up in the camera.
I'm gonna look right in the camera. And I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. I've been trying to talk Blue into a facetious, just a pop in for months now. Months. And the man was like, all right, we're gonna try to do it then. And then he would be like, yo, we're gonna try to do it like a month from now. I got this going, I got that going, and then we ain't never get nothing going.
But we going now. We going now. Now the main man who was the onus of this gaming roundtable is none other than one of my counsels, my dude to the south, is Henry, aka Knox Broadcast. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Man, I ain't been here in a flat out hot minute. But no, it's good, man. It's good to see everybody, man. Good to see everybody's healthy and good, and not coughing and breathing on each other. We all good.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag elbow cough.
even if I was, man, y'all ain't gonna know. I'm gonna turn my camera. I'm gonna turn my camera and my mic off, cause right all up in these elbows.
Right. Well, you keep that out there in the VA, and then finally joining us, man, is the man who, if you can see the stream right now, which as you guys know, I should let you know, this is being concurrently broadcasted on YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. So, is none other than Jimmy, aka The Ace Black. What's going on, dog?
What's going on? It's definitely been a hot minute for me. Real hot minute.
Man,
good to see y'all again, man. Good to see y'all again.
Yeah,
glasses for the first time in my life.
Yeah. Well, y'all, we out here in these streets now. Knox, I have the agenda on another sheet, but dog, this is really the thing that you wanted to drive, man. So I'm gonna let you just drive the whole thing. I'm gonna sit over here in like the passenger seat, or I'm gonna sit in the third row, and I'm just gonna kick back and let you go ahead and take it.
Man, Knox can talk. Man, come on, man. Gosh, talk. You gonna let him drive? Oh,
Look at it. Here we go. We can really just talk about Ace the whole show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, please do. I'll come right through this damn screen. Go ahead.
His internet fast enough. He could pull the ring real fast. Crawling through the screen. Oh man.
Yeah.
Stupid as hell. No, really, honestly, I wanted to have this show personally just before the new consoles come out, because we hadn't recorded in a long time, and I know we have a lot to cover, and this will probably be broken up. I don't know what we're going to do, or maybe just let it just be a full podcast. But, there's so much to talk about, and so much has changed, not just with the industry, but with the community, with us as growing older. I mean, when you think about it, man, like the last gen consoles came out in 2013. It's 2020. That's 7 years, when you think about when we first got together, when we first started meeting each other, that was back in like 2010, 2009. You know, like,
bro, the podcast Scarcasm is 10 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we as people, as individuals, we have grown. Our tastes have changed. The people that we interact with, the community that we correspond with, and how
haven't changed one bit. Go ahead and say it. We have grown and we have changed, but the interactions between the community and the people that we used to be friends with ain't changed one bit. They still are the same nonsense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well,
I'm afraid so.
Well. Okay. So before we hop into the marketplace, I do want to take maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we can go around the table. But I'll kind of start it off with like a basic subject. Is when you look at our group, our cohesive group, I would say we've had a chat group in some shape or form, whether it be via text, whether it be via Google Hangouts, now Discord. We've had a cohesive sort of. It's really been an open chat group, but people have sort of seen their way out because for various reasons. But we've had this group sort of siphoned off from the rest of the community because really, honestly, for me, like it felt like I was going on some type of grand tour when 2013 came out. You know what I'm saying? Like because I like this particular box and because I say I like these particular games, everybody wanted to have me on their podcast in 2013 because they just couldn't figure out why I like what I like. And that was so insane to me. And so fast forward, people talking about resolution and everything else or whatever, and you come to find out like these people are really crazy. Like it's people that have it's people that have legitimate problems when they are so invested into their team or their color or their box or their piece of plastic where they are willing to forego whole friendships for however long that we've been sort of kicking it together and podcasting together for the sake of a team or for the sake of whatever. And looking back at all of that and looking back in light of the chat that we've sort of had and developed and the camaraderie that we've had, we're all still here. So I think that speaks volumes on the level of sanity that we have, and not talking down to anybody, but what is y'all's perspective of why that happened? And what is y'all's opinion looking at the landscape of these past 5 or 6 years that we've been sort of in our own little corner and looking at the wider landscape of the quote unquote the gaming community?
I mean, I'll jump in. I mean,
who want to go first? All right, go ahead.
Okay. I think what just got me is it's not even about games anymore. It's about power. We never cared about that. That was never something that was, I mean, for me personally, I didn't care about power. It's about what I played and how I was going to spend my money. Right. But for some reason, the power situation, the power conversation just completely consumed and engulfed the gamer. That's all they cared about. I mean, if you look at some of these gaming interviews, the first question they ask, "Oh, what's the resolution?" And the developers are like, "What's the resolution?" I'm like, "Well, look at the gameplay." I mean, that completely just engulfed people's minds. Whereas our group, we're too old for that. I mean, whatever is going to have to play the best game, that's where we're going to go, whether it's PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Right. But for some people, they just consumed on power. And here's the sad part. It's still about power. It's not even about that anymore. And that's just what gets me. But go ahead, y'all. What y'all got to say?
Go ahead, Scott.
You sure you want me to go before you?
Because, I mean, somebody has to bring you down. Somebody has to ratchet you down.
Oh,
okay.
Boy.
Okay. I think that the like what Ace was just saying, like the power conversation has completely wrecked what was already broken in the community. We I use the hip hop analogy a lot when describing the gaming community. How like when hip hop went like East versus West, right. and then while they were doing East versus West, then that's when the South came up and the South took over. And I use that a lot for the gaming analogy of like how like it was Sony and Microsoft and then Nintendo and like all of the casuals and in the games that they liked kind of slid in underneath and became a huge thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like in a world where Sony and Microsoft doesn't exist, can Fortnite be what it is? Because that's a casual game. You know what I mean? It's a game that most of us look at and just kind of like, huh. But you know, like Fortnite would have never succeeded because we would have all been on PUBG. You know what I'm saying? Like that idea, and like in the way that gaming is now is very much like politics, where like
absolutely
everybody has their side right now, and because you have your side, and like because you pick a side, which a lot of us haven't. We play where, like you said, we play where the games are. We go where what we like is. So we haven't really like picked 100% picked a side, except Knox. But but when you don't pick a side and you play where the games are, then you start noticing the conservative versus liberal kind of thing that's happening in the gaming community, and
yes,
and people are so entrenched on their side, Sony versus Microsoft, that they're not even noticing the same way in politics. They don't notice the glaring issues with their side, and just realize that it's not about your side. It's not about your side. This is supposed to be something that benefits all of us. And if just like in politics, if we don't start working for the things that benefit all of us, then none of us are going to win. And the only people who are going to win is Sony and Microsoft. And like I said, just like in politics, I look at it like this: because I don't have a whole lot of money, my only part of the process is my vote. The same way that in the gaming community, your only real process in this is what you pay for,
right? And
like you don't make no decisions other than that.
Exactly.
Like, you make no other decisions other than what you decide to purchase and what you allow by making said purchase, 2K. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. But like one small thing that I want you to speak to as well is because we've seen this happen over the past 10 years as well, is that as the advent of social media and as the advent of streaming and streamers and gamers and YouTube girls and everything else has gotten more popularized, Twitch streamer, everything else or whatever, we've seen that people who haven't historically had a voice because they haven't had the deep pockets or the wallets to be able to pay for sponsorships or be able to get into these events, just having that voice, I mean, especially when it comes to Microsoft, I mean, it's like Microsoft has been afraid of their own shadow for the past like 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they, they change so much that they forget about the consumers that actually spent and invested money in their product. So, but I guess could you speak to that aspect? Like, people being really loud and like being,
I think Microsoft went from being like a big dog in a small area, like somewhere like, like the New England Patriots. They went from being the New England Patriots to being the Browns, and realized they were the Browns. So they spent all of this. So they spent all of this time trying to spend money and make a better system. And like how the Browns just got all of these big name talents, and then the talent still didn't really do anything. Like it's like that's what Microsoft became. Microsoft became the Browns. Like they used to be near the top. They used to be something comparable to the Patriots, and now they're the Browns, and like they're still trying to figure out how to make this thing, how to do something with this thing.
Do you think that has anything to do with leadership, though?
I think it
absolutely.
Knox will say it's absolutely. I think it's just people. And like people doing people things, because like they made a huge mistake at the beginning of the generation, and in the scheme of things, it wasn't really that big, but it came out at the wrong time, and they did the wrong things at the wrong time, and it was just panic mode from there. The dude who was in charge left, and he was like, good luck. I messed this up for everybody. Good luck. And then and they've been playing catch up. They've been struggling so hard to play catch up when it was like, no, take your time, develop your talent. You know, the same, like if they would have took more of instead of a Cleveland Browns approach, if they would have did a Warriors type approach, where the Warriors took the time, understood what they had. They got rid of the coach. They brought in a new coach, and he realized how to make these pieces work. What we have works, and this is how we're going to make it work. And he changed their approach. He didn't change anything about the pieces. He just changed how the pieces work together. And and that's what Microsoft can't figure out. And then and then you can do the Cleveland Browns thing by bringing in Kevin Durant, after you're already winning. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Right. Well, Blue, you have some interesting past stories. I mean, when we talk about Open Farm Radio and the community and where that kind of spawned from, that kind of came out of, that level of cantankerous attitudes amongst people in the community and everything else. And then as we see the progression of things sort of roll forward, you kind of, you spin off and you did your own thing for a pretty good while. And then, with all the shows that we've seen come and go and things that we've done and projects that we've had, like what is your opinion of the landscape of the community? And then of course, as far as a larger point, kind of the way things are going. Because like Scar said, like when we talk about us is very small now. Yes. And I kind of asked a question that kind of started this off at first. So you can speak to the community piece, but I want you to end off with saying, or you can start off, is that gaming is no longer niche.
Right.
So we're no longer the it crowd in terms of the extroverted people from society, if to take an analogy from like whatever, but like now when we look at
extroverted or extricated.
Yeah, I'm sorry, extricated. So like we are no longer the nerds or the cool kids or the geeks or whatever. We're just a part of the group. But the problem is we get, as Scar says, the Wii U board, we get the balance board, we get the Fortnites, which are taking over. We get games like Bleeding Edge, with crazy or whatever. But just speak to that community piece and then how that rolls into
before he does that. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Because I already said this on Facetious. That the biggest problem is we had this community, and we had a certain ideal about our community, and with the rise of first person shooters, most specifically like Halo and Call of Duty and stuff like that, it integrated a real jock-like competitive element to what we do, and that is partially what fractured everything, because we started acting like jocks.
Well,
we started acting like jocks, and we don't know how to act like jocks. We're just pretending, and like and that them pretending and has led us down a path to whereas we're here where we are now, where like grown men, like almost 50 and some 50 plus year old men, are still arguing Sony versus Microsoft when they know that they have enough money to buy both and play whatever they want to wherever they want to. But they're grown men. You can go on Twitter right now.
Yep,
right now. And I rarely go to Twitter. I rarely brave the wild outside of my mentions. But every time you go to Twitter, you see the same people arguing the same things, and it's dumb.
Absolutely.
Like we moved past this. We got together and we grew up basically together, and like it seems like the rest of them didn't grow up.
Right. So I oddly enough, I don't disagree with Scar on this point. The gaming landscape used to consist of a lot of people who had many different tastes, and a lot of people were cool with that. A lot of people were okay with people having different tastes. A lot of people were okay with people, hey, going out there, hey, we in a massive game night on Xbox Live. It don't matter what you're playing. Just come on out there and holler at your boys. That's what it used to be. What has happened And what has caused the bifurcation or the splitting of the community is that now, like Mike was saying, it introduced a lot of different type of gaming personality types, right? The jocks, right? But not necessarily just the jocks, right? Because I grew up playing sports games, grew up playing sports, but it was the mentality of, yo, I'm going to complain until somebody takes action. I'm going to speak up and be loud. So now we have what used to be a rather rather cool voice in the gaming community now has shifted to the loud, complaining type, and it started back, even before then, but it started back like the No Russian level, Call of Duty, then it progressed on to Mass Effect 3 ending, right? Mass Effect 2 ending, and then all of Mass Effect 3, and people just complain, and then what happened is that now our gaming community is so angrily vocal, and they're so unyieldingly obstinate that they want how they want it, and now I felt I had to split from it, and I felt like I didn't need to be involved with it, or at least if I'm out here talking about it, then it needs to be from a perspective of sensibility at the very least. And
I would interject and say from a perspective of being properly informed.
Right.
Right. When I look at 2013, kind of alluding to what Scar was saying earlier, like more than half of that stuff was panicked people going on Twitter yelling about things they didn't understand.
Right.
And my biggest argument, I remember that I went on Game Enthuse. I went on what was the other podcast that the guys from Tag had, they split
PGR?
off or whatever. I went on PGR. I went on like 10 podcasts in like five days, and I was like, bro,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, please chill out. Like, I got kids, I got boys, and of course my boys are younger. But I was saying that not being facetious, no pun intended. Right. But I was saying that to be serious. Like, bro, be quiet, bro. Mm-hmm. They're gonna let us buy one game and serve with 10 people. Right. Chill out. Chill. Yeah. Please.
Chill out.
And it's like y'all scared them out of it, and then they lost their partners, and then the whole thing went away from there. It's like, oh, we're gonna bring it back. They never brought it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yep. Bro, like do you understand what we could have had? And then it's so funny because you have games like Titanfall, you have games like Fortnite, you have games like PUBG. These are online only. Destiny came out. It's the biggest thing since sliced bread. Right. So everybody tells me. And I'm like, these games are always online, only online. You can't play it unless you have an online connection, but ain't nobody got no problem with it. But you had a problem with being able to share 10 games with 10 friends.
You had a problem with them saying that you need an always online connection, and it was going to check to make sure that you was online a little bit. But now it checks every time you try to play anything. Right. You can't, like, my power, the power will go out or something like that, or like my router starts jacking up, and I can't play anything on my Xbox. Like the other day, when Xbox Live was acting up or whatever,
which has been very frequently recently.
Play anything offline. I had to go to my PlayStation. I had to turn my PlayStation on for the first time in months because
don't do that.
Not that I have a problem with the PlayStation. I just thought that because I'm invested in the Xbox ecosystem and I have Game Pass Ultimate. Like it made more sense to play games there than to play games and to keep paying for PlayStation Network for no reason.
So I think we can sort of roll into the next topic, and we'll start with you.
No, I got one more thing I wanted to say about the conversation that we just had.
Okay, go ahead.
When I talk about the jock element being attached to the community, what I'm really getting at is it used to be inclusive, and then the jock element is the my team should win at all costs is what infected the community. That element of jock culture, my team should win at all costs.
It was bad.
One side effect of that jock culture is not just the ninjas of the world or the Dr. Disrespects of the world, but it's these people who have sort of came up through the ranks, and now they have that added bonus of popularity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, YouTubers.
They have the added bonus of access. So because I have access and because I have popularity, therefore I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying?
Those people I say aren't bad. The same way I don't think like teams like the Cowboys or Duke or like, you know, Patriots fans. I mean, I don't think those teams are bad. Their fans make everything worse. And that's basically what happened.
Just to add to what Scar's saying, I agree with him, because these were people that said, well, damn, I don't have nowhere else to go. Everybody's hating on this console. I like it. So they went ahead and they started their own thing. So,
and I believe we'll stop it there for episode 1 of the podcast. We talked a little bit about the marketplace and the digital future. Next episode, we're going to pick up and do a platform overview, looking at all of the players in the industry, the old and the new. So yes, we're going to discuss good old Google Stadia. And yes, we're going to discuss Amazon and Apple. So join us next week, will you? We'll talk to you then. Stay open.